This guy might be one of the main reasons why you didn't cop the Travis 1 lows this morning. James Whitner has been acquitted of all charges, but when he was asked directly on the question of backdooring, he gave the most political answer you could imagine. Cenat previewed some brand new Air Max 1s, and the eBay sellers that sold the Air Force 1 lows that featured on Kendrick Lamar's album artwork reneged on the sale and chose to repost them for $75K. We've got all of these stories and plenty more in this week's Sneaker Wrap. Hello everybody, it is me, Jordan Young, and this is another fantastic banger. Every week I do these weekly sneaker news recap videos where we go over the biggest sneaker news stories from the past week, talk about some upcoming releases, and just have a gay old time with one another. If you guys aren't following me on my other social media platforms like Instagram and TikTok, go ahead and do that for me. I would really appreciate it. And if you don't want to do that, that's absolutely fine. You can piss off. We're going to kick things off like we always do by recapping this week's biggest sneaker releases. And bro, I don't even know where to start. This was such a crazy, hectic week for releases. I guess we'll start with the Air Jordan 4 amine collab, the While You Were Sleeping 4s. Bro, I didn't even go for these myself. I passed on all the different raffles. In my head, I was saving the money from these to inevitably have to pay the resale for the Travis 1 lows. So the good news is most people that wanted to cop these, it seems like were able to get their hands on them. And if you didn't, and you need to come up on them via the resale market, these things aren't even selling for much over retail at this point. We also had the wider release of the J-Tips collab on the Pro Grid Omni 9, which some people out there, like not me, but some people out there are talking about this sneaker in sneaker of the year terms. In fact, I think even J-Tips himself has posted this sneaker as very much a potential sneaker of the year candidate. Me personally, I'm not really seeing it in this collection, to be honest. At the time of filming this video, there are in fact still a couple of sizes still sat on the Saucony website. There were also a couple of crazy shock drops that went down this week on the Nike Sneakers app. We here in the UK got the Air Max 1 Chlorophylls, the Pata collab, and I'm hearing rumors that that's it now, that this is now done. Usually a shock drop precedes a wider drop, and I thought maybe that could be the case with this shoe. It remains to be seen. We could be getting a wider release, but what I'm hearing online is that that's that drop, that's that release, done now. And you guys over in the US yesterday, I believe, had a pretty limited shock drop of the upcoming Wu-Tang dunks, which we're going to take a look at some official images for later on in the episode. So a couple of crazy shock drops, man. I mean, Air Max 1 Chlorophylls, Wu-Tang dunks, shock dropping the same day almost, like that's crazy. But obviously the release of the week, the pair that has been getting all the attention are these, the Travis 1 low in the medium olive colorway. Now earlier on in the week we were seeing these videos here from this sneaker reseller who seems to be in possession of, bro, I don't know how many different retail stores allocations. We had heard that this was going to be the most available Travis Scott, something in the region of 180 to 200,000 pairs. And this guy looks like he's been able to snaffle a pretty decent amount. I want to say like maybe 1,000, 2,000 pairs. Like, how does this happen? How does one reseller come up on this many pairs backdoor? That is assuming, of course, that they are all legit. But this was starting to get a lot of people nervous. The release went down here in the UK on the Nike Sneakers app this morning, and bro, when I logged on, it was glitchy. There was so much traffic on the app, I was getting kicked off. It was saying the content wouldn't load. I mean, I was on it, my missus was on it, no doubt you were on it with your missus and however many phones you've got. It was really glitchy, but I did manage to get in my entries, and I did manage to cop a pair in a UK 9. I didn't actually go for my normal UK 9.5. I got my missus to go for that size. I thought I'd go for a 9, and I hit on the 9. So I'm really happy with that. I took L's every other raffle I went into. And before you're thinking, bro, you always get dubs, you always win for retail, bro, this is the first time I've ever won a good Travis Scott. Previously, up until this point, the only other Travis I've ever hit for retail was the khaki 6s, which these days, bro, don't even sell for retail or resell for retail. So don't hate on me. This is my first dub. I'm going to enjoy it. Before the release went down, I actually took a screenshot here at like 7 o'clock this morning. They were reselling for just a little bit over £500. Right after the drop, they were selling for a little over £500. And as I talk to you right now, bro, the prices have actually jumped up to like £550. So I know that is a lot of money, but if you consider previous Travis releases, 600 quid all in after fees on StockX is not too bad to pay for a Travis 1 low, particularly one that is as nice a colorway as these are. Right, let's get into the news. I want to start off with this story here because this is crazy. This lady sold a pair of cooked black Air Force One lows on eBay for $70, which people thought was a huge ripoff, but she's ended up retracting that offer and relisting them for $75,000. And this is why. Earlier on in the week, Kendrick Lamar had dropped a new track on Instagram, and for the cover art for that track, he'd used a picture that he stole from that listing of these cooked black Air Force Ones. eBay users actually messaged the lady and said, hey, Kendrick Lamar has used your image from this listing for his cover work. Everybody's now talking about these shoes. You probably want to cancel the sale for $70 and relist them. And so they did just that. And they canceled the sale, and then they've relisted them for a buy now of $75K. Starting bid, $5,000, but it gets even better. They've decided to use the image on some t-shirts to hawk some merch. So this is crazy. They've gone from taking $70 for these black Air Force Ones to being pretty much in possession of an absolute item of the moment. So I don't know, what do you guys think about this? Do you think this is a really good capitalization moment, or are they being greedy? We've got some updates and some closure now on the whole James Whitner, Whitaker Group backdoor scandal situation thing. They have been cleared of all allegations following a federal investigation. And this follows on from our update last week where we were talking about Whitner essentially forfeiting or conceding $1.2 million in cash to the federal government. This is money that was, of course, seized during a raid on his business associate Antoine Freeman last year when this story broke. And that seems to be the one thing still potentially tying him to this case. And having conceded that, it seems like they don't have any other evidence to tie him to this situation with. In an official statement by the Whitaker Group, they say that this outcome reaffirms our stance all along of the integrity of our business, the transparency of our operations, and the regulatory compliance of all our tools, platforms, and processes that allow us to serve both community and consumers effectively. So they're in the clear, apparently. Now, in the same week, Whitner appeared in an interview on a new Complex show. He sat down with this lady to chat about what's going on in his business, in his life, and he was actually asked directly about backdooring. Do you backdoor? And his answer was very media trained, very party political.
Were you backdooring?
There's a difference between resale, StockX. The breadth of our business is about inventory management. Our goal with off-season and everything that we do at off-season is
very squirmy. He didn't actually answer the question directly as to whether or not he backdoored. He sort of tap danced and windmilled and uprocked his way around the answer and didn't actually say anything of any substance. So this has also called into question whether or not people actually trust him despite his brand and his company being cleared of these allegations. So what do you guys think? Do you guys believe James Whitner never backdoored, was never involved in any nefarious activities, or do you still have a sneaky suspicion? Let me know. Cenat was featuring a lot in the sneaker news this week. Earlier on in the week, he got sent some products from Asics and he decided to unbox them on stream, wherein the funny aspect of it was that he was, at the same time he was unboxing these sneakers, wondering as to whether or not endorsing these products or wearing them or even just showing them off would be in contravention of his very lucrative brand deal with Nike. And you can kind of see him in real time wondering whether or not he's allowed to do what he's been doing. Eventually he cottons on and realizes actually Asics is a direct competitor of Nike. I probably shouldn't even be showing these on stream. But by the time he'd realized that Asics pretty much got what they wanted, which was to see him holding a pair of Asics and him showing them off to his no doubt hundreds of thousands of viewers at the time. Now he also debuted a sneaker that's going to be coming out very soon. This is the Air Max 1 Poly, and it features a very traditional, very classic OG white and red colorway, very much like the Air Max 1 Low OG, and it comes in this pixelated form, part of the whole dot swoosh program. These are actually going to be releasing earlier on in October. Nothing particularly spectacular about these shoes. It's just a very basic OG Air Max 1. Nothing to get overly excited about, at least in my opinion. Tyler, the Creator, ran a pretty interesting advert this week for a pair of upcoming Converse. The whole advertising video is is, yeah, it's kind of funny, it's kind of interesting. It's a boardroom filled with dudes that are basically chopping it up over what could be the next new sensational shoe. I don't know, I found it a little bit cringy in parts, even though, in all fairness, I make similar types of short form content myself. I don't know about these shoes though. I mean, they're pretty basic, they're pretty bland, they're pretty boring. It's just a Chuck Taylor low with a dog stamped on the back. But maybe there's a bit of irony in the advert, seeing as that these will still no doubt sell out. What do you guys think of these? Veteran sneaker designer Frank Cooker, which is a great name, you've got to say, especially in 2024, has announced that he's going to be returning to Nike. He was part of teams behind iconic releases like the Off-White Original 10, the Travis Scott Jordan line right up until the 6, Jordan 1 not for resale. I mean, these are all cult classics at this point. And in this quote, he says, "I'm not saying I'm the one y'all trust to do it, but I'm going to attempt to restore the feeling, be considerate of the current state of the industry, and have a whole lot of fun while doing it." So obviously we've heard in recent times that Elliot Hill is coming in to replace Frank Donahoe October the 8th or something like that. And so maybe this is part of a move to try to bring back in some of the people that were responsible for really bringing Nike to the height of their coolness right around 2018, 19, 2020. We've got some official images of the upcoming Wu-Tang Nike Dunk Highs that are releasing in October. Some of you guys might have even been lucky enough to come up on that shock drop. And if you did, feel free to sound off down below. These are going to be retailing for $150. And according to these images, listen, they look good. They're what we expect at this point. I have mentioned before that some of the collectors or purists out there have been complaining that the shape isn't quite as nice as the original shape. But listen, at this point, I think most of us are pretty delighted that this is actually coming to light. The fact that you're going to be able to pick up a Wu-Tang Dunk for retail $150 or maybe in the resale market a little bit over is kind of crazy, considering at one point not so long ago these were selling for like $30,000. So if you're a Wu-Tang head or you just love this colorway, definitely a big shoe to look forward to in October. The Black Toe ones have been pushed back to 2025, which is kind of crazy because we were expecting to get these in just a few weeks time or something like that. We've been seeing the early reviews, a lot of in-hands and on-foot shots have been going around. So this whole situation has started to dredge up a whole bunch of queries from the sneaker community. Why have they chosen to postpone the sneaker when it was so close to releasing? Some people have been wondering whether or not Nike were given pause for thought given the reception that these have received, because a lot of sneakerheads out there aren't really feeling the replacement of the Wings logo with this Air Jordan text. Maybe Nike were keeping an eye on the resale market for early pairs, seeing that a lot of pairs are barely selling over retail, so they didn't want to risk having these brick. I don't know. What do you guys think? Maybe there's production issues or supply chain issues. I'm not sure. It definitely is an interesting one. Right, let's talk a little bit about the Nike and Nigo collab. As I talk to you right now, there are 2 pop-ups going down, one in Japan and one in New York for this entire collection. The whole thing is set to drop more widely on October the 4th. And Nike decided to break out an entire anime video for this, which is a really cool video featuring these 4 almost Power Ranger type characters. You've got Nigo and maybe a Megatron, a version of Megatron. So I don't know, have they basically ripped off the Power Rangers, Transformers, and Voltron in one anime video here, because that's kind of what it looks like to me. It is still nonetheless a pretty cool video, and the associated marketing poster that has gone alongside this is really dope as well. And listen, we haven't seen the Air Force 3 for some time now. I think the shoes are really dope. I like both colorways. I'll definitely be keen to get my hands on a pair of these, but we've also seen the apparel collection that's going to be dropping alongside as well, which to be honest is pretty boring. The main thing that's pretty cool in my opinion is the crew neck sweater with the Nigo on it, although if you don't know who Nigo is, and if you see someone out there wearing these, you might be thinking, does that say? Anyway, I'm only really keen on the crew neck and the kicks. The rest of the stuff is pretty dead to me. This collaboration's been getting a bit of a mixed response online, but I think it's cool. But I am a fan of Nigo going back to the early Bape days. Now we have also seen a preview of the next Nike and Nigo Air Force 3 colorway, which is inspired by the Planet of the Apes. And looks really cool, man. Like the brown colorway mixed together with the fur or the hair, obviously inspired by the apes, looks pretty dope in my opinion. So could this be a really exciting collaborative project moving forwards? I think so. UK Mandem that are fast approaching their court dates are going to have a brilliant new coat to wear to face their sentences. Nike is releasing a tech fleece trench coat. Bruv, pretty cool, pretty dope. I don't know what the pricing's like nor the release info. I just thought I'd make mention of this because yeah, man, this is pretty funny. Some 2024 What the Dunks are coming up, but they're actually being called the What the Ducks, and these are going to be releasing exclusively on GOAT and Flight Club for $275, and the proceeds are going to benefit the University of Oregon student athletes. Pretty cool looking shoes. You've got a lighter colored pair. You've also got a darker colored pair as well. I feel like this release is going to be kind of similar to the Air Max 1 release that went down a little bit earlier on in the year. Pretty dope, but obviously your chances of copying these are going to be incredibly small. So let's move on. Got some more Tekken 8 foam posits coming out. I think the reception to the first pair was pretty positive. This colorway here looks pretty nice as well. Slightly lighter shade, got the gray or the slightly more silverish colorway on the upper. They look pretty dope, man. If you're into Tekken or you have the first pair, these are probably going to be a must cop. No exact release information that I can see other than these are dropping next month. For our first look at the collaboration between New Balance and Amine, I'm not sure if that's the right pronunciation, apologies bro, but this is on the New Balance 740 V2, and this is a pretty dope shoe, man. It's called the Benson Tech collaboration, and the colors are inspired by Benson Polytechnic High School, which is where he began his musical journey. These are set to drop on November the 1st, and apparently to commemorate the collab, Amine is going to be donating $25K to recent grads of the radio KBPS program to help with college expenses, which is pretty dope, man. Colorway itself is really nice, really bright, really vibrant, really out there. You've got this mixture of blue and orange. The box is right up there surely for best box of the year, or at least creative box of the year. When you open it, it reveals what looks to be a laptop. So really cool looking collab, man. I hope these aren't too crazy limited, because this would be a fire pair to get in the collection. What do you guys think of these? So a lot has been made of the Nike Halloween sneakers that are coming up, but I honestly think that Puma have some of the best Halloween sneakers upcoming, bro. Check out these Puma Suede XLs. These are inspired by two of my favorite characters from the whole Ghostbusters movie, man. Puffin Stuff and Slime. Bro, these are fire, man. I really like the Puffin Stuffs, man. Slimes go hard as well. What do you guys think of these? I think these are dope. Let's talk about concepts. Shout out to Dion Points. They just released actually a really cool pair of Adidas Arukus, which are still available on their website, albeit in very limited sizes. This whole Aruku Adidas model is very current. It's very of the moments, I feel, with this massive chunky sole, but this pair from Concepts has an all reflective upper and just looks really tidy, man. If I'd been a little bit more about them, or had there not been so many other sneakers this week on my radar, I might have given these a shout. But the main sneaker that I wanted to talk about is this whole Jason Tatum pack. It's called the Garden Pack. It features a Jason Tatum 3 as well as an Air Jordan 1 low. And as you can see from these pictures, man, these are pretty nice. These are very floral, very botanical, very naturey. I think if you're into that type of scheme, you'll be feeling these for sure. Available on October the 5th. Just on the Concepts website from what I can gather, and I can't get any pricing info at the moment, but I imagine these will be pretty pricey, maybe like $300-400 at least. But it's a nice pack, nice packaging, nice design, nice concepts. The mystery around what shoe is Jaylen Brown wearing is over. The bro got so mad at Nike for being omitted from the Olympic team that he went ahead and just designed his own sneaker and chose to manufacture and produce them himself. I'm not that sold on them personally. I'm not really sure what all these infinity stones or what all these bedazzlements are doing on the upper. I'm not sure what role or function they do, but hey, fair play to him, man. If you can't get someone else to do it yourself. Speaking of performance basketball sneakers, Anthony Edwards officially debuts the upcoming pre-loved Purple AE1. This sneaker here is starting to change the landscape in terms of repopularizing or renormalizing wearing performance basketball sneakers casually, and you can see AE doing that just here in this tracksuits, man. Don't tell me this fit doesn't go hard. Right, we've got a couple of cheeky updates, some confirmations, that type of jazz. First, with regard to one of this year's most anticipated retros, the Black Cement Air Jordan 3 OG. This release is set to go down on November the 23rd, and we've heard about the production numbers, or the potential production numbers. Something in the region of 400,000 units are going to be produced, meaning you should be able to cop this pair pretty easily. We've also had some confirmation that the Jordan 4 Black Cats, which is expected to release late in 2025, will come with the updated shape. This isn't really news, I think. I mean, given the state of the Air Jordan 4 market right now, all of the latest retros have been coming out with the updated shape. This isn't really news. I feel like this is just another excuse to use the Black Cat 4s as a little bit of clickbait, but here I am reporting on it, so how much better am I? We've had some updates with the packaging for the Air Jordan 4 Fear, set to come out later on this year, and the packaging takes inspiration from the insoles of the sneakers that take inspiration from this advertising campaign, which features all these different quotes from MJ. Some official images of the Air Jordan 14 Black Toe. These are set to come out in November. Very clean, very simple, very classic colorway. I do see these sitting unless they make them in very limited quantities, but it is kind of getting to that point now where the lower model retro numbers are so played out now that you're starting to look at these older models like, man, I kind of like these now, because we haven't been seeing as much of them compared to the lower models. What do you guys think about that? Right, let's wrap things up by talking about some of this week's biggest sneaker releases. And bear in mind, I will be bringing you guys my best sneakers coming out this October in the coming days. So make sure you guys are subscribed and you've got the notification bell turned on, all that stuff, so that you don't miss that episode. So first of all, we're going to talk about these. The Adidas Adizero Arukus. This is the first time we're going to be seeing these. This is a new model from Adidas. Pretty cool shoe. Same day, you also have the PSG Jordan 1 Lows. Also got some Kobe Protros the same day as well as the Crazy Lows. October the 3rd, the KD4 Art Pearl. October the 4th, the whole Nike and Nigo collection is going live. Also on October the 4th, you've got the Tekken Foamposites. October the 5th, the Jason Tatum Jordan 1 Low OG pack from Concepts. And then you also have the AE1 Pre-Loved Purple. So, man, sneaker releases are not slowing down. Are you guys looking for anything this week? Feel free to let me know. And that is it for this week's sneaker wrap. Thank you guys, as always, for taking the time to watch the video. Do me a favor and like it before you bounce. And enjoy the rest of your weekend. I will see you guys on the next one. Take care for now, and peace.